very good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to thanks the Digital Learning Elets to organizing this a great World Education Summit in Delhi. I think it's our pleasure to have all the great young minds, all the experienced minds into education to come here and share their words of wisdom on the topic of upskilling and reskilling in the future of jobs and also with the changing education scenario in the country in the coming time. I've been given this opportunity to moderate this session, and due to time constraint, we'll try to keep it as short as possible. And the opening set, we will try to touch the government, what is the policies which we are defining, what is the institutes doing in their respective domains to come forward, and also how the skill gap in India needs to be addressed in the coming time. To set the tone, I just want to say that in the coming time, 2025, a lot of jobs will be displaced in the country. And with that, what I mean is a lot of companies today are working intensively to upskill themselves. A lot of financial gains were spent by companies to do this. Reskilling programs were done. So this is one challenge. Second, also, India being the youngest nation by 2025, almost 67% young people would be working in this country. So when we talk about 1 billion people to be upskilled and reskilled, we have got a great responsibility on our shoulders. So with this, I will start with my fellow panelists to introduce themselves and also give a brief note on how do you think about it. And we'll start from ma'am and then we can come with questions.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I'm Dr. Jaskiran, currently working as a campus director with Narsi Munji Chandigarh campus. Today's topic has been, very pertinent, specifically for the education sector. I agree with Mr. Tushar, the way he has said that, it is going to be a young generation and everybody is actually looking forward towards India for this thing. The way we have transformed, we means all higher education leaders, those who are sitting here. We all have put heart and soul since 22nd March 2020. And Indians have left no stone unturned, especially in higher education, all the leaders, to make young generations so engaged that their education is not disturbed. But we need to, now learn and relearn. Because the way we are doing it, a lot of people, yesterday also while I was, attending the session, said that, we have transformed, we have reached, now we are at par. I'll just ask one thing. The learning has increased or not? The learning in students has gone where? Now the disruption is required in higher education to have better content delivery, to have better focus of the students. That cannot be done. See, we cannot change the workforce. I was just reading yesterday that a lot of multinationals, Amazon, I'll just give you McKinsey data on this. Amazon have spent $700 million to retain 1 lakh employees. Why is it so? That is the learning curve need to be increased. We all sitting on the dais, I'm very sure we all have studied through the traditional mode of education. But what we are delivering now is at par, even at international standards. But, in the morning also I was discussing with Sir, we need to train the teachers. We need to give them skills. Changing workforce will never be an answer. Bringing new, let them go, No, that's not the answer. We need to retain it. The loyalty cannot be demanded, it is being earned. If we are ready to spend on them, we are ready to invest in them the way even good companies are doing, we are going to, produce wonderful leaders. Wherever they will be, they'll be able to adapt, they'll be able to learn more and implement. Number two, they need to be grounded. I was hearing one of the experts in the morning that the marriage was being conducted by ChatGTP. It is good. A lot of audience clapped. But honestly, I was very disturbed. Reason, if, mantras are going to be read by them, in future, those kids will never need us. We can just tell them in our will that this is our blessings, and that is sorted. That's not India. That should not be the culture. And that is not going to be a future also. I'm not criticizing the technology. It is going to be there. Be it chat GTP, it is coming, I think 4.0 has come in the better version where I was actually teaching teachers that, we can even decode the students who are using chat GTP. Now it is even, I cannot see the way they are doing it with chat GTP 4.0. They're going to come more refined. But in the end comes what we teachers are. The way Chief Guest has said, technology will come, but human touch should never leave. So teachers are always going to play a very important role. As a higher educationist, we need to invest in them and invest in our faculties to make sure that they are grounded and they know how to adapt the new technology. That cannot be done without reskilling. Learn and unlearn. That should be there. Even, when I go to class right now, I always teach. Basically, I am a teacher. I love to teach students whatever position I'll be, because we need to be in touch where exactly, right now technology demands or the standards demand. I'm a strategic finance teacher. Finance has taken such a turns. What I was studying when I was in MBA or I studied from Singapore Management University, I'm not teaching those two students. The whole paradigm shift has been there. Things are not the same. We are learning that and teaching that to them. The way we take up the case studies, we were not taught the same way. We also need to train them in the same way. Right now, teachers need a lot of training to have that focus of audience, the students, so that that kind of content that is being delivered. This one thing that has, actually, since morning I'm thinking, when sir was speaking, he said we tell teaching load. That load word is actually negative. I promise you, sir, at NMIMS also we use the same language. I'm going to change it. Because we should not say this. When it is a load, it is actually a negative thing. We need to make it very positive. And only teachers are the people who are going to train future generation, immaterial of the fact, whatever industry they go. If we ceases to be a student, we ceases to be a teacher. That's my take on it. Thank you so much. I hope I've not taken a long time. Thank you.
So, yeah, very good, ma'am. So we'll start with Dr. Deshpande, sir, to go ahead.
So, thank you for having me here. And I have 3 points to make. Essentially, I like to provoke it. So, the 3 points are, because the panel is future of work, and then the word skill is getting used, I think, and now my ears are paining the amount of word skill that I hear. So, I thought, let me put a few points with respect to that. See, what has happened is we are seeing one of the largest, yeah, single largest economic transformation that is happening. And so far, over the last hundreds of years, the industry, the companies, the businesses have been organized around in a particular manner in terms of the nature of business they were. They were mining, they were industries, manufacturing, and so on and so forth. Now it's more cross industrial and cross functional. If you look at it in the last couple of years itself, more than $8 trillion of economic value, the shareholder value has come from companies which actually are not from any particular sector. They are from cross industrial sectors. And that is the way the education will eventually also go. Because today, the way the education has been organized is been actually trying to mimic how the industry has been organized. So we have educational disciplines which are in accordance with the industry and so on and so forth. And similarly, if we look at the future of work, then that is the first transformation that will have to happen. Like that is as the industries have looked at what the customer needs and have organized themselves in accordance with that rather than from a sectoral perspective. Similarly, education will have to organize around problems and not discipline. What are the problems? That is what we're going to solve, and that problem is going to need a multidisciplinary uh, uh, input, and that's how the education, especially the higher education, will have to be organized. Second point, coming to the word skills, I think it's a very elastic word. When from an industry point of view, it is something when the industries are doing well, the skill gap goes up. When the economy is not doing well, the skill gap actually goes down. So it's a very elastic thing because it dependent on the industry. And unfortunately, we from the academia listen a lot to the industry. I don't think we must listen to them so much because in a way we end up following them to a place where when we reach, they say, no, 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 you're no good. But then they are unable to tell us where we are not good, especially our graduates. If we ask them, what's the problem? Then they are unable to tell us what it is. They say, no, they are like they are like that. And I tell them, look, you're not here looking for a bride or a groom. You are having an employee. You're going to hire someone. You are going to look at the attributes and you're going to have to spend time and money on that person. And you're not going to this whole uh, idea of having a ready-made product like they have a just-in-time inventory kind of a thought process is not going to sustain much. So I think we combinedly as an academic group, we have to educate the industry also in this manner because we have a far greater responsibility in terms of the youth that are coming out of our hands. That's the second. The third point is even if we talk of skills, I think we have to look more at the cognitive and the metacognitive skills that are the most essential part and not what you are able to do with your hands. It's a very bad thing to say, oh, he has done a BCom but can't write a check. Okay, there computer, there are machines to write the check that he need not understand how to write the check. He need to understand why the hell is he writing a check for and whether that thing for which he is writing a check is making any sense. And that is the thought that we have to instill in our students. They have to have the skills which are analytical. They have to have the skills of reasoning. They have to have the skills of numeracy, reading, writing, and these are the skills which are the most important. Then comes the metacognitive skills. Metacognitive is more about thinking, learning to learn, how you learn. We all know, we all often talk about it, that the future is uncertain. If we do not know what the future is, if we do not know what's going to be the turn of the times after 5 years from now, how are we going to have a graduate being trained today, prepared for that when he or she is going to graduate 4 years down the line? And that's where the metacognitive skills plays a very important role, that if our student is able to learn and continue to learn on his or her own, we as educators are able to build that foundation in him to be able to think, then that person would be able to adapt himself to any situation that is likely to come through. And that, in my opinion, is the most significant skill that we have to, as educators, look at imbibing and instilling amongst our students through our educational processes, systems, besides the discipline-based teaching, whatever we do. That these are the 3 points from my end. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. So I'm delighted to be here. I'm Dr. Padmakali Banerjee. I'm currently the Vice Chancellor and President of SPSU Udaipur, Sir Padampat Singhania University in Udaipur. It's a corporate-led university which was established by J.K. Cement. I firmly believe in empowering youth that build nations. So that's my baseline that I want to really emphasize on. So, and I also believe in the moment of truth. The truth is, we had a disruption many years ago, many decades ago, when the printing press came into education. So people thought that with the printing press, things will go away. But we realized that creating new knowledge was really important. And there you will always need the educationists and philosophers who will come out with thought leadership. I also agree and I believe that the future of work is already here. Very recently, about a year ago, we celebrated almost 100 years of Harvard Business School cases. And the very first case study which was published was on the shoe company. And that time, I remember the dean of the Harvard Business School thought of taking, inputs from the corporate to bring it into the classroom. So the case writing became an art which all management institutions adopted. So today, what is happening in institutions, the experiential learning, which I think one of my colleagues already, panelists already mentioned, that yes, experiential learning and some competency-based learning is going to be very important. For example, a learning where you have the 6 C's. I published one of the papers which talks about choice, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and change management. So to do that, you need a lot of flexibility within the system. So we need to identify the different competencies, including the behavioral competencies, so that, we don't create zombies. We are not creating only machines, human beings that are going to replace machines, but we are talking about a man-machine interface, because that's what is going to be the future requirement. If you look at the industries, because very recently, because now I've moved to Rajasthan from Haryana, so I was visiting their the Advanced Technology Center. So what are they going to do? They say, when you bring into a classroom a robotic arm to explain, yes, they are more trained. Just like pilots get trained through a simulator, similarly now you need all engineers, all, even these people need to do, global certification so that they're more industry ready. And when we say the hybrid work culture, it has already started. I know fresh, bright boys and girls who were imagining of a plush office, they're moving into their own desktops and working from home. So I think some balance of that, taking great challenges that we are going to face. Today in the morning with the discussion, with the photograph with the minister, I saw the whole room was filled with tech companies. So I was really thinking, do we really need educators anymore, or the technology companies are going to lead the way? But it's going to be complementary. So in the sense, we need to walk hand in hand to make a difference. India is making a great movement already. We are in the most exciting times in the higher education sector in India. And what I strongly believe in, now there is no competition, there is collaboration. We need to create leagues of universities come together to make a new beginning. So I think one of the enabler has been the new National Education Policy 2020. But at the same time, we are seeing within states, people are now collaborating to implement the processes. Otherwise, it's going to be a white elephant. In order to really implement, you need people, you need thinkers, you need educators come together and preparing for the most uncertain. The kind of change that we have witnessed in the last decade, it's going to be go faster. So we are talking about the Sustainable Developmental Goals 2030. To work on that, India, I think, is focusing, especially in the higher education sector, we are really focusing on creating sustainability ecosystem within the university. How do you create a more free access? How do you create a better education in terms of creating better intellectual resources? I think that's the kind of challenge. And I would love to, actually, in these panels, I often say that we should also have some youngsters sitting from who are actually students of the universities. I think they are also coming out with great innovation. Most of the bright patenting ideas, and if you saw the startup culture that has come into India, that's happening in the labs in their colleges. So I think these startup ecosystem within universities will also really support that. And finally, what I feel is we are talking about the world which is now very interconnected. So we need to really look at the global problems together, solve those challenges. So universities can become those grounds, those green fields where a lot of these challenging problems can be resolved and bring them together. So creativity and thought leadership will become very important. You must have also noticed that aspects of spirituality has become so very important now. Why? Because, the values were disappearing. So I think what is need to be done is that we need to create more holistic development in the students, in the future leaders of tomorrow. So that's the kind of vision that I have, where we need to create a better world around us. So universities can work along with the corporate sectors, tech companies, government, institutions, even international bodies, because 2025, many of the international universities are heading towards India. So we need to understand that what is the need of this great land. We are talking about harping on the fact that we have a most youthful nation, but we also have to accept the fact that there are challenges. Yes, there are gaps, but those gaps are because of the inequality in terms of even the digital space. For example, even the kind of mobile facilities and services that are there, it needs a lot of changes. So I think every government have equipped the different states, helped them, gave them a lot of autonomy to come out with proper solutions. So we need to work together to create a better system. And where I think I must put on record that universities, in fact, today are also challenging times for all the vice chancellors, because you are creating a dream of many more people who are going to look back. And like Steve Jobs says, you can always connect the dots when you look back. So whatever we are creating today, it will create a history. And of course, I like Thomas Jefferson's word of, I like the flavor of the future than the history of the past. So we really need to create and dedicate ourselves to creating a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words. Ma'am mentioned about collaboration and holistic development. Now we'll listen to Dr. V.K. Rattan ji for his opening.
I'm Dr. V.K. Rattan, presently Vice Chancellor, GNA University, and earlier served with Punjab University, Chandigarh, basically a chemical engineer. So the topic for today is the need of the hour. We have to find why we should go for upskilling. You see, the courses we had in schools, colleges, they are the same. Very lengthy courses, and earlier the students have no time to search for the other skills or other part of the courses or their likings, what they want. So we have to change. The change is that the job market, the first reason, let us see the needs for upskilling. First need is the job market is evolving. The industries which are moving from the industry 4 to 5, as has been said in the morning also, but we are still finding the institutions have not moved to parallel to industries 4. So we have to take the institutions, as Madam has said, we have to go side by side. Industry and institute have to work together to make the students workable. Now the job market has evolved. It is evolving job marketing due to globalization, automation and technology advancement. The skills which are required today, which were having, the people were having maybe last 5 years, 10 years back, they are not required today. The skills are changing. The life of the, I'll say the half-life of skill is decreasing. This is the World Forum, the World Economic Forum report has also said that by 2025, after 2025, every worker, every person has to upskill himself at least once in 5 years. So you see the demand of the industry, the demand of the job. So we have to upskill. The technology is changing very fast. Nowadays, we are talking about artificial intelligence, digital marketing, cyber security, and many more things. So the skills earlier required, they are not useful, they are obsolete. The industry also wants, the jobs are also in the same area, so we have to skill. The courses in the industry, the courses in the universities, schools, or colleges, they are the same courses we are running, and we have to modify the courses. We have to give the students the skill, and also we have to tie up with the industries so that the students, now the industry, what they want that student, when he comes from the college or university, he should be job ready. So we have to see those changes, that the demand of the industry, the skill pattern is changing, the jobs are changing. So we have to modify our syllabus, we have to modify our courses, and we have to upskill our teachers also. The teacher also we have to upskill. As earlier it has been said, the teacher is very important part. As the Honorable Minister has also mentioned, we have the information. Lot of information is available. The students find the information on any topic, maybe on Google, or but they don't have the knowledge. So Gyan, that is what we say, the Gyan has to be given by the Guru. So the teachers also are important parts, and they also have to be upskilled. So within, I think after the next generation is coming, that we have to upskill regularly ourselves. If we are taking the same patterns we have studied in the old patterns of the syllabus, but we have to upskill ourselves also. And the universities and the colleges, schools, even the schools, they have to give the upskills, the short courses, the skill courses. It is a very good initiative by the government. The NEP 2020 has come, which allows the students to do 2 degrees or to take the courses of skill also along with their degree. So we have to give the students a chance to bring out from them what they are having and what they want. So the skill, the industry, the technology, they are moving, and we also, the universities, the schools, colleges also have to move along with them. This is my views. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll hear from Vikram Shahji for the industry perspective. What is the future of work would be?
Thank you so much. And yeah, exactly. I think I am the odd one out currently in the panel. Yeah, exactly, sir. You spoke about it. But I am not an educationalist, and all of you are here on the dais. My name is Vikram Shah, and I'm the Chief Business Officer at Merito, formerly No Paper Forms. We provide operating systems for student enrollment to educational institutions, and I'm sure that 8 out of 10 sitting here in this room would be utilizing our platform to enroll students. Now, my perspective is a bit different in terms of what industry is looking at and specific to the topic. We are not talking here about 28% of the gross enrollment ratio of students who are doing courses in higher ed. we are actually focusing with respect to reskilling and upskilling. Mainly, I feel reskilling and not upskilling, because there's a difference between reskill and upskill. For those 72% of the population who don't even go to higher ed, they straight away go to industry, and then they figure out a way in terms of on the job what to learn, and how to drive their stuff on a day-to-day basis. To give you an example, we are a 7-year-old company, and majority of the companies which I have seen in the past and I've been observing, 60 to 65% of the workforce is in middle management, largely. And what they are doing is, they need a constant reskilling, because the way work is changing, the way technology is making a difference in the life of people. This workforce, middle management, need to upgrade themselves in terms of learning what's going on in the market and apply it at their job. Now, the other part here, which I would like to highlight, is largely from a point of view that you have got two main broader aspects in skills, which I'm sure Dr. Deshpande and Sir also mentioned. You have a soft skill aspect and you have a hard skill aspect in a profession. और बहुत ही एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दूंगा. I am a marketing manager in a company, and I've been working as a marketing manager for the last 5 years. Forget about whether I've done the higher ed or not, but currently I am in industry and driving marketing for the company. As a marketing manager, I know I have a skill for marketing related job. But if, let's say, tomorrow the tools related to marketing changes, like what has changed, the ChatGPT has changed the entire algorithm of Google. I know the skill, how to do marketing, but I don't know the tools, because that has changed. I've been working for 5 years. I'm good at what I do, but now I need to learn how to implement this solution to get the same desired result. Where will I go? How will I learn? So I feel, from a future of work perspective, the universities, the higher ed institutions need to come up with those kind of certification programs which are small in nature, where middle management can drive. Our universities, our higher ed do offer management programs, but the word is management development program. That is only to the top management most of the times, because they go for MDPs. My question is more with respect to what will happen to the middle management and how university is looking at this in the changing dynamics of technological revolution and the way we interact with each other. That's the submission.
I think very well said, sir. The middle management has to be focused. So I think the universities has got a major role to play in this. So let's start with, I would ask Dr. Banerjee, ma'am, to how Vikram Shahji mentioned that the middle management has to be trained, and how is the word. We need to make sure that is universities coming up with the programs which have got freedom, they are agile, they are fast to deliver, and also are we making any initiative in your university we can share with you?
Lovely question and great thoughts. By the way, we use no paper forms. So, I think a great question, and I want to share with you that when I went to the City of Lakes a year back, right, and we saw this great university institution. It was on-campus experience, completely students were on campus studying. So students from across parts of India, especially even South, were there in the university. But we took care of that vertical of middle management. So just to give you a case study example, that we did a program along with FL Smith for the graduate engineer trainees who were already there on job for more than 2 years, where they needed certain skills, right? So we started a program called STAR. Of course, STAR is an acronym we use for SPSU Training Academy and Research Center. So through that, we are catering to the market across different sectors. For example, be it in the IT sector, be it in the retail, be it in FMCG. So I think we are really looking at upskilling not only our students, and in fact, I talk about not just upskilling and reskilling, I talk about even new skills, because that is what is needed by the industry today. So yes, one of our initiative is the STAR program, where we are helping and working together with other institutions in offering these programs. And the second is for our own existing students, we have global certification program like for business analytics, which is a very sought after course with MBA. We have, of course, a SAS proper certification. If you talk about even a BCom honors today, so earlier people are interested in becoming a CA or CFA or ACCA. All of these certifications are becoming now necessary. So like that, for every core area, we are offering advanced technology programs. So that is one of the things which is creating a benchmark. And this is, let me tell you, end of the day, we are looking at outcome-based education. So be it higher education of students going abroad or be it the placement. So I think it has given very good results where, companies are delighted to have students who are better trained. So there, the aspect of both skill and knowledge and education and attitude all comes together. Thank you.
I think very nice one. Thank you so much for your answer. One more thing which I was driving out of this conversation, a lot of students who have passed out of their institutes and now are working in good places. I think universities have also got a major role to play with the alumni. Alumni who has got a deeper connection with their parent institute. I would also like to bring attention to everybody that is Indian universities. I think everybody is doing a lot of work in different domains to make a great program which is employable. But I just want to check with Sir Deshpande sir. How do you think that alumni, opening doors for alumni to come back to university and upskill themselves and reskill themselves at a comfort of their connect with everybody would help, sir? Like, if that could be one point.
So, yes, alumni connect is a very important aspect. And as far as our university is concerned, once a student, always a student, as far as we are concerned. So, our student, even after they have graduated, they could always come back and attend or join any credits that they wish to without having to pay for anything. So, that's the answer.
Yes, so I think alumni is the key portion which we really need to work on. Maybe a lot of EdTech companies, as ma'am said, EdTech companies are in the room. They are providing a lot of courses. The partner universities, we should also offer, I think, to a lot of students, they can remotely work and then also connect with us. Very important thing which was mentioned by Dr. Rattan sir, I think he has got very expertise from a lot of time, that government is also putting a lot of efforts in upskilling the youth. We might be focusing on managers, but there's a big strata of India to work on, which is a skill set which is going to be the manufacturing workforce for India. So, sir, what do you think that the education policy or the government initiatives in this direction are going on the right path, or universities can?
You see, the universities or the colleges, we have to start the short-term courses. As sir has told that about 30% of the students, they are going for higher education, but 70% they are left. And earlier the Honorable Minister has also said that there are students even in far off areas. So the government's policy, they have brought this new education policy to bring those students, those people also into the stream of education. Education means not to only to pass the degree. They should learn the skills. The whatever skill they require, they have to learn. Now a student, it is a good that a student who is doing graduation, he can, if he doesn't want to continue his study, he can leave after 2 years, 1 year, he can get a certificate or diploma, and then he can go, let us say engineering students like music. Right? So if he wants to become a singer or something, he can do that, he can leave this, go for that, but he has to make the skills. Our university, in our university, GNA University, it is an industry base. It is a GNA group of industries, 75 years old industries, making gears for all the four-wheelers, heavy four-wheelers, supplying to more than 25 countries abroad also. So what we do is we are offering the short-term courses, the diploma and certification in the skills. Skill development means how maybe 3D printing, like or AutoCAD. So these plus filming, because in Punjab some students they like the filmmaking or that type of industry. So this type of courses, short courses. Even we are offering a course in MTech post diploma. The students from mechanical engineering, they are doing mechanical engineering from other universities, but we are upskilling. As sir has told that we have to upskill or reskill. So they take the admission 1 year diploma and they learn the practical training in our industry also. Plus we have a center in 3D printing and other parts. So they are upskilled and then they go to industry and they are absorbed immediately. So this way we have to take the initiative. But all these things has to be done with the help of industry and the government. So there are three things: government, industry, and the education institution. We have to come together to take this, uh, uh, we can say to take this idea of upskilling, reskilling, or to bring the masses to the education. We have to work together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this. I think you want to add something.
I just want to add one thing, sir. It's a very valid point, and again, I'll come back with a point related to industry. As I said, that 50-60% of the workforce is in the middle management, and largely from that point of view, if you look at everybody, be it in any company or in educational institution, when you are working, your focus is only towards that, and actually speaking, very honestly, you don't get much time to think. And imagine that 60% is coming from various sectors. They have different kind of skill set. Some of them have done higher ed, some of done not done higher ed. So they are at different levels within that entire gamut of employees. Now, if you give them time for 2 days going and doing a certification program in a university, that gives them two things clearly. One is time to think about their skills. Second is they will actually get an opportunity to walk into an higher ed and learn from best of the professors, be it for half an hour, but their learning will go up tremendously. So I feel that we need to think about, at least as an industry, and I'm sure the NEP has put in a lot of thought towards that. But implementation is something which we as an educational institutions look at that how we can focus on that 70% of workforce which is not going to higher ed, and not only focus on that 30%.
I think it's a very good point, sir, mentioned that if a change of environment can really play wonders if in the outcome of that particular course. And as said, but sir, one point which I would like to also add to this was that a lot of universities are regionally scattered all over India. The regional demands also believe in collaboration with the regional industries. So a lot of people are not willing to come on that platform, but I think with time, a lot of people would really take this point, and I think this would be the driving factor of a lot of universities to get their teachers. Because I think it would be learning for both ends. Teachers would also get an upskill with getting first-hand experience with the middle management. Uh, one one question to ma'am, Ms. Kirat ma'am. You have been mentioning about reskilling in your opening talk. Since you're also from a business school, and the reskilling in today's days, a lot of jobs are driven by data driven and digital driven. So how do Narsi Munji comes up with reskilling and taking small steps in their curriculum, and how difficult it is to involve micro credentials or digital badges or certificate program in the regular curriculum, like in 3-year degree program, so that it's easy for us.
Thank you, Tushar. And I think this is one of the questions which we all higher educationists keep on thinking and evolving in a different process. Narsi Munji is a trust with SVKM, which is having a legacy of 40 years to be at the top. It's very easy to come at the top, but staying at the top needs a lot of hard work. We have anchor and a mentor program. We do not leave everything what is being there at a today's scenario. Every year, syllabus is being changed with the limit of 20%. And who changes this? International experts in the industry, international academicians, our industry people, alumni, and our students. Just imagine in this 6, when they sit, they put their own thought process. It's almost, a 10 days process that starts by giving first the basic inputs, then coming up, then finalizing, then 1 draft, 2 draft, 3rd draft. It's a very rigorous process, but it pays off. Then comes anchor. Who will be the anchor? It's very easy to change the, syllabi. You can just bring best by putting futuristic, but who's going to teach that? The same teachers? Every year we cannot change 20% teacher, please. How it is going to be there? That comes identified upskilling. The same faculty is being trained. Be it require an anchor from our international tie-ups, be it require an expert. We have anchors from different walk of life as per the subject requirement. The anchor is going to take a complete control of content delivery in the class. A process is being refinedly laid out that is going to be followed by the faculty in the classes. How it is going to be shaped up. And every time a student is being asked to submit a practical, assignments. I see components always there. We all know, we talk a lot about industry, but at the end, when we have to give them a degree, we have to follow a protocol of UGC, proper lay down, and we need to. There has to be few things, right? Every student in NMIMS campus is having their own Turnitin account where they check it before submitting it to the faculty. And the rubric is being very well defined, told to the student, if you reach at this level, this much is going to be the scoring. It is very transparent. They are actually empowered with a lot of information when they enter the system. They are being very, given a complete student resource book from where they are going to follow that. They made their own graph. They look at their student portal. They define their things. Okay, I have to improve in this. I have to do it in this. This was your first question. And then you said a short-term courses. Here NMIMS doesn't do. The reason is, the first answer I gave, because those things are already added in the syllabus. The course learning outcomes are very well defined, and having those all things in it. I would just like to share one observation, the industry person who's sitting on the stage, we are also using the same, and I think long time. And when a recruiter comes to my campus, 90% of the cases, they don't ask the questions. They negotiate with them. They ask them, can you come here? That is what is required. We need to push student to the limit. There are a lot of, hurdles they have to cross. I even tell all the parents and my students, once you get convocated, you have earned it. We have to make them earn that thing. And the earning only comes if they are being empowered. And empowerment will only come if they have the required skills of whatever course they are doing. They are doing BBA, they are doing BCom, they are doing BTech, they are doing law, they are doing pharmacy, whatever course. Only then they'll be confident. That's what best practices we have it there. And this was all about Anchor. Mentors are from industry as well as academia. They are not from NMIMS. They are always the outsider from the same industry where it is required. And we have periodical, we have to submit reports. I do look at what mentor remarks are, what anchor remarks are. That's how we improve. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. I think very wonderful insights by all the panelists. I think we are running short of time. Thank you so much for Elets for organizing this session. And at the last, I would like to mention that upskilling and reskilling is an ongoing process. Higher education institutes would be should have a cutting edge for next 5 years plan to implement this in our country, because this is going to lead our nation in the coming time. Thank you so much to all the panelists for your time.